It just dawned on me that I should have done this song last month and released it on Solar Eclipse Day. Missed opportunity, oh well, but today I'm checking out Thrice's Stare at the Sun for the first time. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Lone University. Thrice is a band name I have periodically heard over the years. In fact, the first time I heard of them was when their farewell tour was announced. This was about 10 years ago, and the only reason I heard about that was because a band I am familiar with, Animals as Leaders, was supporting them. And I remember seeing that poster and going, I've never heard of Thrice. Is this an older classic band that's finally hanging it up? I wasn't sure, but I'm reading that they were actually just on hiatus and they are back active today as far as I know. But Stare at the Sun is from their third studio album, The Artist in the Ambulance, released in 2003. The only other context I have is my buddy Garrett messaged me on Instagram and said his friend is a bass player and thinks I should do this song because it has a weird tuning. Only context I have, so I'll kind of be checking out for that. Let's get into it. Stare at the Sun by Thrice. Ooh, that's fat tone. That thing is cooking. Okay, before I get in that's all over the place. Driving. I really liked and was almost distracted by those guitar harmonies in the intro. I love the setup, really set the mood for the song. This almost kind of reminds me of like Mute Math. Anybody remember that band? For some reason, that band was shown to me. I learned their songs. That's a great band. Kind of has that, I don't want to say alt rock, but just some atmospheric, like a melodic element, right? But those guitar intros had like just good voice leading, really kind of set up that progression. Kind of edgy sounding. Just good voice leading on those intervals. Okay. Okay. Okay, I want to go back and hear that again. The tough thing about this is that I can't find the pattern right off on the first listen. It sounds like it repeats. It's almost like it repeats on every other bar, so it's almost like two bars of, I don't know, it's a weird pattern. Let me hear it again. That's trippy, because it's just it's in C minor. I got that part. But those notes are they almost like sound like scales and thirds. So, if there's a weird tuning involved here, I don't know. It's got a lot of this recurring C, D, E flat. Kind of this oscillating thing, but there's some low notes down there. I honestly can't hear if there's an open string. So if this were down tuned to C, maybe if this D string was down to C, I don't know if there's an open, like that note in there. But it's got this meandering. Okay. Hear this chorus. Okay, same progression as that intro. Wow, that thing drives those verses. Okay, chorus actually had a pretty poppy progression. It's in C minor. So 1, 3, 4 in the C minor scale, 7, 6. But it has that poppy, accessible kind of 1, 4, 6, 5, 1, 6, 4, 5 progression. Let's see. Yeah, because if E flat major is the 1, it's got the 6, 5, 4. Okay, that's actually the most common chord progression there is, but I like that they've cleverly kind of rearranged the order of it to still sound familiar in terms of this is one of the most common chord progressions there is, but they've given it a minor chord kind of treatment and rearranged it in a way that makes it sound a bit darker. So E flat major, B flat major, A flat major, back to C minor. But if you actually go to the relative major of C minor, that's E flat major. So it's really, so it essentially is a 1-6-4-5. That sounds really happy and major, but if I rearrange the notes kind of the way they are, so if I put the 6 first, then the 1 second, yeah. So they've taken this same thing, and to avoid that happy kind of poppy sound, they've just rearranged those same chords to give it more of like a. So that's interesting. You can just take a really happy chord progression, rearrange the notes, kind of lean into the minor chord as the 1, and you still get that same accessible familiarity sound to the listener that they hear, but it's got a darker sound. Okay, back to this bass line. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to really figure that out because it's kind of just moving almost asymmetrically. Let's see where that starts here. It's just, no, there's no A in there. Again, it just sounds like an iteration off scale and thirds kind of thing. And they're just, I don't know, it's like groups of 3s in there. I like the irregularity of it because it makes those verses just sound like one long thought. It almost gives that context to the whatever subject matter is being sung about. Probably not an eclipse, stare at the sun. It's probably obviously something analogous to something else. But when you can't really find the pattern in that, you just get this droning intensity, kind of energetic build, slow burn. And it's cool that they're using the bass to kind of articulate that. You know, just something in there. Okay. It stumped me this time. Almost sounds a little different here. I love his voice. Oh. I don't know if I noticed that the first time or if they did it the first time, but you hear those leads? They're kind of mirroring that bass line. That's great songwriting. Huh. Clever. Cool effective thing. You know, I actually just mentioned in a couple of videos ago talking about song bridges. What is the point of a bridge? Well, there's a lot of definitions for it, but a bridge typically is the point in the song in which an artist introduces a completely different sound or a completely different tonal center, a completely different key change, a breakdown. There's a lot of ways to do it, but it is bridging you out of what you've heard into probably the chorus at the end in like a typical poppy song structure. So what they've done here, you know, we've done C minor, E flat, B flat, A flat, the 1-6-4-5 thing I've talked about. I've not heard a single F chord, F minor, which is still diatonic in the scale, so they're still playing it safe. They didn't go out of key or change keys or anything, but they introduced just a different chord. And it kind of pivots the tonal center of C minor to an F minor, which honestly shares a lot of the same notes if they really did change to F minor. There's only a couple different notes there, the D flat. Really, that's the only note. So one could argue if you switch to F minor, it would still sound pretty natural to the ear. But nonetheless, they've introduced the 4 chord in C minor, or in E flat, that would be the 2 chord, however you want to look at it. But just a different sound and smooth. Broke it down, halftime kind of here. Change it there. Yes. Okay, this is just ticks all the boxes of great songwriting. They go to the bridge. You don't hear that bass line. Whatever that is, I'll never figure it out just in this video. But they kind of gave you a break from it. It kind of was the backbone of these verse sections. They go to the bridge. I think the bass just really simplified here. And you almost miss it. We really haven't heard it the second half of the song. And then they bring it back again here in those guitar leads. And you're just familiar with the bass line enough that the second I heard those guitar leads come back in after kind of a pause from that bass line, they bring it back in a different instrument. Right here. Simple, effective. Cool. Okay. And I won't close my eyes. Ooh. Unresolved on that 6. Yeah, now that I've given this band a proper listen, their sound is very familiar. I listen to a lot of bands similar to this. There's even a chance I've heard their songs before, or a song. It's a familiar sound, but this song sounded brand new to me. And what a cool bass line. As cool as it is just on the notes, the rhythms, the patterns, I like what it did in terms of the songwriting. Unless you were completely tuning it out, it was very difficult to find where it stopped and started. And I'm not sure if verse to verse there was a little bit of variation, kind of tough to hear. The asymmetrical pattern nature of it made it kind of hard to follow, but it almost kind of kept you waiting for it to stop and just go into the beat drop when the choruses hit. And it just had this meandering kind of just random. And that was a cool way to build energy. And then outside of that, man, what can I say? Great songwriting, loved his voice, loved the guitar work. And little things like bringing that bass line back in the guitar leads is just super sexy to just reprise it all at the end. And this had a singly kind of feel, so I'm wondering the depth of Thrice's sound. It's certainly a band that scratches my musical itch in terms of what I listen to, so I need to check more of this band out. But thank you guys for requesting Thrice. Come find us on Patreon if you'd like to see me do full album reactions. I've got a lot of lesson content. If you want to understand all this theory stuff, I have a whole music theory course over there, Helix patches, and just a ton of stuff. So come hang out. Please like and subscribe the channel while you're here. It really helps the channel out. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Love you all, and we'll see you next time.